really miss Larry, although he's still working here, just not helping us with this. So that's going to be great. Larry Rippey, some of you know him, some of you don't. Then, all these pictures around are by Tim Kaine, and it's going to be really nice. Tim Kaine lives in the valley, and it's nice because they're all of Woodacre and the valley and everything here. So it's really good. It goes with the music that you're going to hear, I think. There's probably something else I'm supposed to be saying. Oh, we went to the final Kate Wolf Festival on June 23rd for 4 days, and we had been going for 20 years consecutively to see all these beautiful artists playing. And this was the final one, and so I want to make this little group in honor of her tonight, because Kate Wolf wrote such beautiful, gorgeous music, and some people may be playing it, but if they don't, I'm gonna make you sing. So that'll be fun. So first of all, I want to introduce the very first player tonight, and it's Paul Behrensmeyer, and he's sitting right here, basically in front of me, and with his mother, Jean Behrensmeyer. And Paul is an environmentalist, he's a photographer, he videos wildlife all through the valley and has done it for many years. And he and his family are just so much the people that really care about this valley and care about the life here. And actually the life in the whole world. They're really into not just environmentalists, but love of the world and life in it, all life in it. So they photograph salmon runs, they photograph animals in the wild, and if you ever get a chance to see any of the videos, they're just the most beautiful things. So please do that sometime. But now, Paul is going to come up and play the Native American flute. Oh, we were going to sing. Yes. Darn it, yes. We have to sing the first song to open. Do we have I'm just going to start with this just to get you going. Because you're going to sing. We're all going to sing. We have no music with us. It's just our beautiful voices. Okay? Check, check, check. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Kind friends all gather around. There's something I would say, that what brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle
Test.
Yeah, sorry. So, if you want to, you can say anything you want about yourself too.
I don't know what you think. Here's without the mic. Here's with the mic. Pretty much the same. Well, I'm particularly honored to play here at Kate's Cafe because Kate Wolf was a dear friend of ours, and in the 80s she actually rented Grandpa, who played Santa Claus, my grandpa, Berensmeyer, she rented her his cabin and had her instruments in there, and it was her studio. So we befriended her. My mom and her were best friends. And my mom can tell you the story of being on tour with her and being her gopher. And so I'd like to dedicate this song to Kate Wolf. It's our oldest family song. My mother learned it in the 50s at a camp, a summer camp. It's called Zuni Sunrise. It's a calling to people to come up on their lodges and watch the sun come up. Zuni Sunrise to Kate Wolf. Special flute. I had the great honor of doing a week seminar with the famous flautist R. Carlos Nakai, and one of his flute makers had this flute available. I've never heard a tone quite like this, so I want to play this for you. It was made by a man by the name of Maurice Bingham, and the tone is so special to me that I thought that I would dedicate this to the earth. This is the time I think we need to really be thinking about earth, praying for the earth in these this is a healing song for our Mother Earth. Occasion. My mother's here, my wife's here, and dedicating it to Kate Wolf. And your energy is wonderful being here. So this song is your song. It's I'm going to play it just from the energy in the room. It's kind of a fun thing to do. So give me some good energy. Okay.
from the Valley. Many of you might know about them and their family. Valley Boy. Okay, now, this is amazing. I had no idea. I mean, I had just inklings of things that were going to happen tonight. But most of these people that are here, I haven't heard before. And I knew that Paul was going to play the Native American flute. He played 3 flutes. And that I didn't know that he was going to honor Kate Wolf like this, because I'm going to honor Kate Wolf too. And I'm going to sing a Kate Wolf song. This is not a sing-along one, and just help, just be there with me. But it's similar. It's kind of interesting. Gentle warrior, with your heart like golden. Now, I gotta start. You can't even remember the words right now. Okay. Now, what in your Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Gentle warrior, with your heart like gold and a rainbow in your eyes. Brave companion, do you see a world shining in the sky? With your body dancing like an arrow, spreading joy beneath your feet, and your hands that wave like tall grass in the wind as you speak, with the shoulder of a small child and the wisdom of a sage. Tell you now, there is no reason to be afraid. Brother warrior, there are none of us who walk this path alone. Spirit healer, it's the only life that we have ever known. I see your smile in the sunlight. I hear your song in the rain. And I hold you here inside me. Feel your love and know your pain. At this time, when the earth is waking to the dawn of another age, I tell you now, there is no reason to be afraid. We are fighting for a vision that all living things can share, and those who care are with us everywhere. So it seems that we have this wonderful energy that Paul was talking about. It's here. And Kate, this Kate Wolf song, and she sent us the message. She's been sending that message since the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, next. Jane,
this on?
Yes.
One of my other hobbies besides writing poetry is baking. And so I overbake, and I have a cake to give away. It's tropical inspired, it's coconut, apple, and banana. It's, what do you call that? It's no gluten free.
Should we put it in the back so everyone?
No, I want to give it as a whole cake.
Okay.
Rather than cut it up. Where if everyone wants it, if more than one person wants it, then we can have a, is anyone interested in cake? You are? You would like it? Are you? Anyone?
Who said that? Did you? Yeah, she did.
What?
Yeah, I was admiring your hand gesture.
Here you go.
She's making it a green. Or husband.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yay.
Wow.
And
Thank you, Jane.
it's all organic.
So, do you want to?
This is Tina's little wife. That cake's not gonna last long.
Keep it in the family.
Yeah, right.
So Jane McPherson, I haven't heard her before, so this is new. Thank you, Jane.
Yeah. I think just to let you know, because poetry is kind of one of those finer arts where anything could happen. I wanted to give you a heads up. There's going to be 6 poems. If I'm wrong, then please forgive me, but hopefully. And I'm starting out with a poem that I often, when I substitute teach, I recite to the kids. And it's a great warm-up for being a substitute. It can be a letdown for a lot of kids that their beloved teacher isn't there. Why I love poetry. It wets the tip of tongue so that words are drunk without the associated symptoms of recombinant belching. Poetry matures and widens the tunnel of my eyes. It grabs the scruff of the neck, throws me into a windstorm, then sends me bouncing into the marvelous land of ozone. Soon after poetry, I can take a small tooth comb over my brain, and the knots come right out. This is called our Testy Bowl, and a Testy Bowl refers to a Cherokee myth that tells of a water spider who wove a bowl on her back so that she could carry fire. The water spider carried fire back to Earth. And it's dedicated to Alice Goss, who was the head of the American Indian Alliance for many, many years here in Marin. You were born a bridge to hold expressions of the familiar. You embodied a window framing mystery and wonderment. Your stories inspired, released people to ancestry recovered. You were elder for a sacred ground. Not just one who knew me before we spoke, but you gave a room full of eyes, a Testy Bowl protecting a circle. Drum for father, water for love. So I had picked out some other poems that I was going to read tonight, but I wasn't in the mood to read those. So I practiced a different set of poetry, and I also prepared what I was going to wear tonight, and I didn't feel like wearing that, so it's tough being a poet. When asked to teach a 4th grade boy how to reach his sky, a time zone passed deeper than his shadow, reminding me of work I'd done long ago when I was not a teacher, but a massage therapist touching a hurting, overbuilt American Indian body with a mature face whose tension released as I exhaled. The sun is warm, the grass green. Now on time, inside the OT room, the boy asked me, "What's your superpower?" I stood tall with my fists in front and broad shoulders thrusting my head. "I'm 2 superpowers. Wonder, cat." "Oh yeah," he said, "I'm Spider-Man. Show me what you got." The sun is warm, the grass is green for this boy who, though not counting to 30, or writing his numbers or expressing frustration minus clicking his jaw or pounding his fist on his forehead, took the lead by playing God and wanting to win for goodness sake. Climbing on the exercise swing, which gave forceful impact, he said, "Have this super spider net," and shrank and growled. And then I growled and won by fighting free. "What happened?" he said. "I used my super cat claws and cut through the net." He nodded approval. "Oh," and swung higher on the rope, announcing, "Now I'll jump into the sand pit and you must rescue me." The sun is warm, the grass is green. The heart has embedded cells science recognizes as its own brain, subconscious from the faculties inside the skull. I heard it say, "This is my life." And I'm throwing a giant tree filled with millions of spiders, he said. "Minions?" I asked. "Yes, you must fall down." My trembling body, as all creation broke down, flattened my back before angling through itching, crawling spiders. Soon my resume of failure hit the floor. The way through is the way out. As totem, I stacked upwards with this boy and his sky blue, looking at what I'd done and what I'd failed to do. I played like him, winning or losing everything, never revealing my 3rd superpower. The sun is warm, the grass green. Just one more. I think that was 4, but I guess I'll do 5. An Orphans Reach humbles itself safe with the moon over wave-lapping shore. Its impression laughs over a wooden bridge at dusk, frequented by dozens of zipped-up walkers embarking on increase, heart rates refusing to postpone reward, punishment for a glimpse of how a snowy egret stands on one leg fishing.
Thank you, Jane. It's amazing how everything is falling together, isn't it? It's just amazing. Next.
Nara, you're next, right?
Early birds. These are early birds.
Laura?
Are you ready? Manera,
Yes.
Jim, and Laura and Mark. And Laura and what is his name? Mark.
Say something about your band.
Laura.
He'll say something about the band, his band.
Yes, good.
Okay.
But I'm not in the band.
Oh, I see. Yes. So I won't need my own details.
So we're kind of a hodgepodge of everything. Laura and Mark and I are all part of a group called the Tamaulipas Bay Mudflats. And we call them mudflats because sometimes we sing flat. So you're well warned, all right?
Now, there are two pickups. Is that enough?
That's, Jim, are you gonna plug in?
Yes, it's good to play, yeah.
There are only two pickups, Jim.
Well, I don't have to plug in.
You can mic. That
Yeah,
might
I'll
be-
just wait. You and I can be
I don't
on
have to
acoustic.
plug in.
Yeah, you and I are
Okay,
acoustic.
Yeah.
And we need, we need that. Okay.
We've also been known as the Tamaulipas Bay Mud Flaps.
But we're ready for it. So where do you want to, yeah, you say we're, and we're ready to take up?
I think there's one.
Yeah.
We have one.
Well, we really need to have the face.
Yes, we do.
That's,
Yeah. What do you need?
We've got two pickups. Who else needs a pickup?
Oh, Laura does.
I could use it, it would be great. Not necessary, but.
Okay, you're on that one.
She's on this one, the blue.
Go ahead.
Laura?
Go ahead and check.
Laura, Mark,
Okay.
Manera is Jim.
Okay, you're plugged
This will be tough acts to follow. This has been fantastic so far. Thank you, everyone.
We need that. Here, let me lower that for you. Good. I'm trying to help. Right. So, number two?
It's on. It's on.
Yeah.
Was it to you? No, that's good. And you have it for us?
Good. Yes.
this, let's see here, it's kind of floppy. It's low enough there, that's good. Yep.
Laura and I are going to start with a couple of duets that we do before we go into the whole production.
Our first one is from Hawaii.
A song about nostalgia and returning home. Common themes in the Hawaiian Islands.
I have a wonderful cookie in my mouth, so.
Oh, yeah. Cookies and tea in the back.
Yeah.
I can recommend the cookies, they're delicious.
Somebody else loves to bake.
So I need a quick swallow of this to get the cookie out. Okay. This is a song about Kahalu'u on the island of Oahu.
night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart it called out to you. But I fear I won't be as I left you. Meke aloha ku homi o kahalu. I remember days when we were wiser, when our world was small enough for dreams, and you have lingered there, my sister, and I no longer can see. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart it called out to you. But I fear you won't be as I left you. Meke aloha ku homi o kahalu. Change is a strange thing, it cannot be denied. It can help you find yourself or make you lose your stride. Move with it slowly as on the road we go. Even when we're far apart, we will not go alone. I remember days when we were smiling, when we laughed and sang the whole night long, and I would greet you as I find you, with the sharing of a brand new song. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart it called out to you, to please accept me as you find me. Meke aloha ku homi o kahalu. Meke aloha ku homi o kahalu. Meke aloha ku homi o kahalu.
We're gonna do one more, and this is actually a Tom Waits. We're
This is a
gonna,
Tom Waits song.
yeah. Called San Diego Serenade. I never saw the morning till I stayed up all night. I never saw the sunshine till you turned off the light. I never knew my hometown till I stayed away too long. I never heard a melody till I needed the song. I called out your name. I never saw the East Coast till I moved out to the West. I never saw the moonlight till it shone down on your chest. I never saw your heart till someone tried to steal it away. I never saw your sadness till the smile left your face. I never saw the morning till I stayed up all night. I never saw the sunshine till you turned out that bright light. I never saw my hometown till I stayed away too long. I never heard the melody till I needed the song.
Thanks a lot. And now we're going to jump into, some of our trio stuff. This is a Towns Van Zandt song. Living on the road, my friends, gotta keep us free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron and your breath as hard as kerosene. You weren't your mama's only boy, but her favorite one, it seemed. She began to cry when you said goodbye.
Aunt Joe was a bad boy, rode a horse as fast as polished steel. He wore his guns outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Aunt Joe met his match, you know, on the deserts down in Mexico. No one heard his dying word. That's the way it goes.
All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away.
Out of kindness, I suppose.
Lefty, he can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. Just that macho bit down south, really didn't even left his mouth. The day they laid old macho low, Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. There ain't nobody know.
All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away.
Out of kindness, I suppose.
Now poets sing how Pancho fell, left he's living in a cheap hotel. Desert's quiet, Cleveland's cold, and so the story ends, we're told. Pancho needs your prayers, it's true. Save a few for Lefty too.
All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. A few brave federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. Another great American songwriter.
You guys nailed that Willie song.
Yeah, the problem with our band is we don't settle on any style. We go this way, and then we go that way, and then we're away, and then we go to Argentina, and now we're going to go to the 40s.
In the 40s, swing thing.
No moon at all, what a night. Even lightning bugs have dimmed their lights. Stars have disappeared from sight, and there's no moon at all.
Don't make a sound, it's so dark. Even Fido is afraid to bark. What a perfect chance to part and know.
If you need atmosphere for inspiration, dear,
One kiss will make it clear that tonight
is started right when light might interfere.
no moon at all up above. This is nothing like they told us of. Just to think we fell in love
And there's no moon at all.
As he comes up to my door. just like he did before. They seem so busy all day long, as though there's nothing wrong. Don't they know the world has ended? My baby's gone.
Oh, but the rushing winds make the wind lie still. Don't let the moonlight shine across the lonely hill. Dry all the raindrops and hold back the sun. My world has ended. My baby's gone. Well, I wake up sometimes in the night. I realize you're gone. And then I lie upon my bed and wait for day to come. I try to tell my love, it must go on alone. But it cries, the world has ended. My baby's gone. Hold back the rushing winds, make the wind lie still. Don't let the moonlight shine across the lonely hill. Dry all the raindrops and hold back the sun. My world has ended. My baby's gone. My world has ended. My baby's gone.
So here is a song that I bet most of you know, and if you have the desire to sing along with us,
The
please do.
chorus, yes. Once upon a time there was a tavern where we used to raise a glass or two. Remember how we laughed away the hours? Remember all the things that we would do?
Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. When in the life we choose, we'd fight and never lose. For we were young and sure to have our way. La 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 la.
Just tonight I stood before the tavern. Nothing seemed the way it used to be. In the dark I saw a strange fellow. Was that lonely fellow really me? Whatever
The days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. Between the life we choose, we fight and never lose. For we were young and sure to have our way. La 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 la. Through the door there came familiar laughter. I saw your face and heard you call my name. Oh, my friends, we're older, but no wiser. For in our hearts our dreams are still the same. Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever
Yes, I got my pocket.
They've got many, we don't need that many chairs,
I noticed, yeah.
My wife came over and told me. I said, not the store bought ones.
Well done. Well done. Ready.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody's little song? Little song?
Oh, the songbook?
Songbook?
You guys knocked it out.
Does that?
Manera?
Oh, that's fine.
No, this one. What's the name of your band?
Mom's Day Mud Flats. We're gonna be at the Point Reyes Farmers Market.
What day is the first one?
Hi, everybody. So we just started playing together several months ago. So there's a trio. We have 2 flutes and a piano. This is Enid on piano. This is Bruce, and I'm Sheila.
Hi.
So we will, he'll say more, but we're playing a trio by a composer named Flute, who lived 1786 to 1832. And I'll let him say the rest.
The rest, poor little Kuhlau. Friedrich Kuhlau, born in Germany, immigrated to Denmark, slipped and fell on some ice when he was 7 years old and lost his right eye. That didn't keep him from becoming a pianist and composer and composing some operas and tons and tons of music for the flute and for the piano. He was known in his time as the Beethoven of the flute. In fact, he traveled to Vienna and he befriended Beethoven. And he didn't play the flute himself, but he composed so much for it. There were so many chestnuts of flute duets and trios and quartets and other chamber music. What else? Oh yeah, his house burned down and he lost all his unpublished manuscripts. So he had a share of bummers, but despite that, oh now I can see. Despite that, he over 200 works that were published of his still survive because he was able to publish so much. Then we come back to the little thing, go off and do something else, eat some graham crackers outside, I don't know, whatever. And then guess what? Comes back to the theme, goes off and does something else. Guess what? So, you're going to get your money's worth for this theme. I hope you really like it because it sounds like this. And you'll be hearing that a lot.
also a Valley person, is coming up to play saxophone and flute, it looks like. Do you need a mic?
No, I don't need a mic, but I want that.
The stand?
Yeah.
You down there? Okay.
Would you like a chair and one like to sit?
Anything you want to say about yourself, Sean? You're welcome.
I'm going to begin here. I just have three things to do. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote, and I'm going to play the bamboo flute after that, which is a wood instrument that I've had this for 50 years. I made this from wood from Santa Barbara that I gathered. And so this poem is called, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No. Microphone. Okay. I'll put the number one.
Thank you. That'll be better.
This stem is really up.
The stand?
It needs some work.
Something's going on with this.
Sean, leave that on the, it's my stand.
Huh?
You got, it's my stand, right here. You want it?
Oh, yes.
It's very sturdy.
Sorry, the stand. Need some help.
Okay. This poem is called Let the Whole Tree Speak to You. Let the whole tree speak to you, of roots and earth interlaced, with veins of water, leaves and flowering branches welcoming spring, birds singing, bowing to each other, in the higher octaves of the tree world. The darkness inside a tree is my friend and teacher. My body gravitating like a tree, rooting myself in the ground of being, sinking down into watery depths. My soul drinking the earth's energy, nourishing my bones and heart, blessing the supreme intelligence of each cell of my sacred body. I pray to find myself inside the wooded darkness, to become a tree among trees, embracing the sunlight, penetrating the black, moist earth. Together, a forest singing from a greater love. This doesn't have a title. It's a kind of a meditation that I do with the saxophone. Saxophone is all dependent upon this reed. That reed isn't just quite wet enough. Gives me too much is not good.
Less is more. Less is more, but we're still going to do a little more. I have to thank all of you for being such great musicians, and for some reason everything was in sync tonight. So far, everything is beautiful. More beautiful than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
We're going to sing songs at the end for Kate Wolf, because it was her final festival that we, and I know that, I really feel like she was here tonight, and that she would have loved this so much, because it was so perfect in every way. Let us have too many for us. Did you want one for yourself to keep and sing? Hello, everybody on Zoom. I know you're there somewhere in the ether.
We're here.
You are? Good. We love you.
Thank you. Back at you.
Thank you. I need one of those.
Yes, we love you.
Thank you. I wrote you some chats. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
I don't really need it, but I'm glad I'm looking at it. Anybody who wants, everybody can sing this song. If anybody knows, this is for Kate Wolf, and we're gonna keep this going. We gotta keep this going.
I don't want to do that.
There's no more festival anymore. It's just us.
Oh, wait completely. Hope so.
This is just our little final thing where we all sing together. Which one would you like to do first? Here in California or across the Great Divide? You're bad on colors. Oh. Anybody have an idea?
Well, most of us only have here in California. So you're gonna have to sit across
I
the
passed them
table
out.
on that side.
They're coming to you somewhere. They're there.
No, you did that.
They should have, oh well, we're gonna be fine, no matter what.
Right.
We'll start with here in California since everyone has one. Some of you know these, right? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. If you want to come up here and sing with me, you're very welcome. And anyone else who wants to. Hey, Connie, come on, you know these songs. Come on up.
Can we sing too?
Nobody wants to come up. Okay, here we go. When I was young, my mama told me, she said, child, take your time. Don't fall in love too quickly before you know you're mine. And she held me know them. Do you know, does everyone have Across the Great Divide? Across the Great Divide? Most of you do. I had 20 of them. I don't know where they went.
We didn't get the other one.
Does someone need it? We didn't have the other one. I can share with anyone.
I have no idea where they went. I'm sorry. Here we go. There we go. Across the Great Divide. Maybe you can share. Some people know it. This is the one, everyone knows this is KPFA. You probably know it from KPFA. Across the Great Divide, Sunday mornings on KPFA. Oh, if you want to get any of Kate Wolf's music, go to katewolf.org. And you can get any of those CDs of many songs that are not on the radio that are really beautiful. Across the Great Divide. Here we go. I've been walking in my sleep and counting troubles, just counting sheep. Where the years went, I can't say. I just turn around and they all away. And I've been sifting through the layers of dusty books and faded papers. They tell a story I used to know. It was one that happened so long ago. It's gone away in yesterday, and I find myself on the mountainside where the rivers change direction across the Great Divide. Well, I heard the hour falling softly as the night was falling, with a question
1985. I'd been going to City College at night, studying French, and one evening in class, someone came to speak to us. We've partnered with, I'm sorry, just over here and pay attention to myself. I think that's better. Still hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Paris. 1985. I'd been going to City College at night, studying French, and one evening in class, someone came to speak to us. We're partnering with the Sorbonne in Paris and are offering you a semester abroad. We can offer Pell Grants if needed. Housing will be offered in dormitories. This was a chance to escape. I was living on Bush Street in San Francisco in a one-bedroom apartment on Nob Hill, driving a taxi and painting. My Uncle Jack had given everyone in the family a little money. He was up there in age and ill, on his way out, and wanted the pleasure of seeing his family in a moment of happiness that he made happen. No one had ever gifted me more than $100. I squirreled the $10,000 into the bank and continued driving the taxi. I did buy a sewing machine, thinking that would be useful. After that night at City College, I pretty much knew I would be heading to Paris and started making the arrangements, subletting the apartment, finding a temporary home for my beautiful cat, and arranging for a leave of absence from the taxicab world. I considered it as a way to be in Paris, primarily to see and experience the city and the country and to paint. Going to school would simply be the vehicle for the journey. Finally, the day came, and I flew on Air France and made my way to the Sorbonne. The first obstacle I encountered was the housing. I chose an all-dormitory in the center of Paris that I found housed students from all over the world. It was filthy. No seats on the toilets, which were covered and encrusted with shit. I was to become acquainted with very old school toilets throughout Paris that I'd experienced before in India, a hole in the floor where one squats and does their business. That was a big surprise. I immediately became seriously ill in this dark, dank dormitory. I knew no one. Almost all the other students from California had chosen the recommended new high-rise dorms in the suburbs, making the early morning commute to the city. I'd become ill before classes had begun, very ill, with a fever, barely able to lift my head. I managed to drag myself to the door of my room, opening it a crack, and waited for someone to appear. My neighbor, a young woman from Yugoslavia, did that, appeared, and she helped me. Almost everyone in this dorm was from a third world country. The place was truly bare bones, poverty. Being an American, everyone I met there thought I was rich. We had all received the cliched propaganda about each other. At least that's what I picked up. Americans are all rich. And what I knew about everyone else was very little. I knew I was an ignorant American. That was very clear. After I recovered from the illness, I spoke to the woman in charge of the exchange program. Their response was that I was a spoiled American. Was told that there was no way I could change my housing, besides there were no vacancies. So, I became friendly with my Yugoslavian neighbor, who had met a French student, and they became a couple. Her plan, marry him, and never return to Yugoslavia, where she saw no future for herself, only poverty. I remained in the filthy housing that I realized was for the underclass, third world students, mostly from Africa. The truth. I kept my eyes and ears open as I traversed through my daily activities and wandered around beautiful Paris. I cleaned and painted my room, met students from everywhere, met Hiroyuki from Japan, who was also studying French at the Sorbonne, and was very plugged into the gallery and art scene. He invited me to lunch and then a gallery opening at Agnes B, very chic, very French. This was my airy-fairy French dream. Was painting with gouache on large-scale paper. A few months later, I would make an appointment with Agnes B to show her my work. Meanwhile, I heard that the American University in Paris had some rooms available on campus. I immediately set out traveling to Port d'Orléans, an old Paris neighborhood, and moved myself in pronto. I was still in Paris with 4 months remaining. The rooms were simple and beautiful to me, and the bathrooms were clean. Here I was with Americans, and that was fine. They knew the ropes and the ins and outs of the city that they graciously shared with me. I met some lovely young women on the hall, and we had dinner most nights, exploring all the cheap, mostly French Vietnamese restaurants around the city. Living in Paris for 6 months was a gift. I could feel the history in my feet, in the stones. I walked and rode the subway every day, everywhere, to the Sorbonne, where I climbed what must have been 6 or 7 flights of stairs daily. No elevators, the building so old. Of course, the culture and creativity were in fine order, finding the Paris Biennale remarkable beyond anything I'd ever seen in the States. All the museums discovering Pina Bausch Dance Theater from Germany, performing at the Paris Opera House in the Bastille neighborhood. I saw Jesse Norman sing one night and heard Vivaldi's Four Seasons in a bitter, cold church the next. Paris satisfied almost every longing of culture and creativity to be experienced visually and audibly with the senses, and there was flirtation and romance all around. In the new dorm at the American University, there was someone that I was very attracted to. We're talking 1985. I was always aware of his presence. He had hooked up with a girl, but I knew that chemistry didn't exist. It was a situation where his buddy hooked up with someone, and the girlfriend had her friend, and they wound up together. But not really. I just observed the situation from way far away. Everywhere I looked was perfect lighting for any story to behold, action, camera. And yes, the food was exceptional. Even simple foods like toast were extraordinary. Or the mayonnaise on a lunchtime sandwich offered from the corner store before the afternoon closing. Everything shut down at lunchtime to reopen about 5. Le Beau Bois is still one of the oldest macrobiotic restaurants in Paris, where I had some of the finest food I've ever eaten. I traversed the catacombs alone, truly alone. I didn't see another person, only bones, skeletons, and sculpture from skeletons. For what seemed to be miles, would I ever find my way out? Our exchange program included a couple of trips through France, one to Mont Saint-Michel, a monastery in Normandy on an island accessible only at low tide, one of the many powerful energetic locations on the planet. It's made of leucogranite, which solidified from an underground intrusion of molten magma, a volcano, about 525 million years ago during the Cambrian period. Presently, it's occupied by 4 monks and 7 nuns, and is a place of spiritual retreat welcoming pilgrims. We have other trips to Saint-Malo and Rennes. During one of these trips, in the middle of winter, the bus stopped in what seemed to be nowhere, bitter cold, with snow on the ground, so cold. Our fearless leader announced that we could get off the bus and try some fresh oysters from a little stand outside in the freezing cold. The little stand stood alone in nature, so odd. And I thought, yes, I'd never had a raw oyster. It just never appealed. But here I was, in France. Why was this place here in the wilderness? And that we stopped to go outside in the freezing cold to eat a very cold raw oyster. Sensing something special, I left the bus. People were in boots. I mean, there was snow on the ground. I left the bus and enjoyed a great pleasure. And I have to write more about that, because all I can say is it was a primal experience. You never know when or what may come your way. So simple. Writing this now reminds me and informs me of the power of travel and allowing for new experience of marvel and magic. I've had periods of taking a back seat after trauma in my life and taking a more inward direction of resignation and retreat from the warrior I once was. The time in Paris gave me a bit of a heightened sense of living. I pretty much have always felt that my life was like a film where I'm the star, the creator, the writer, director, the audience. It was challenging in Paris. Towards the end of the day, my then boyfriend came to join me, although we were coming to the end of our relationship. Wellington and I spent time in Paris and then traveled to Berlin, but we're done. We separated and I returned to fly back to San Francisco. I returned back to Paris. I was running out of money and thought, I'll ask that young man, because we connected, although we'd never spoken. I knew he would help. Now, I don't remember his name. He resembled the actor Jason Schwartzman. Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I remember him. When I appeared, we just walked to each other. I knew the whole time. I spent the day and night with him. A whirlwind kind of love affair that would be just that, like it was the end of the world. That was it. We knew we were connected, just holding each other, accepting. I knew that was it. I would not look him up or ever call him. That was it, and that was fine. In a way, I think we were holding, gently pressing life and love into each other.
I am thinking. You were thinking? A lullaby that Jim Reynolds wrote. Sing you a lullaby. Sing me a lullaby. Sing us a lullaby. Yeah, it's just before the end. Yeah, that would be a nice thing right now. We have a grandchild for the first time. And we're going August 1st to DC to sing. Oh, that's beautiful. That'll be a nice thing.
Okay.
Beautiful. That'll be a perfect ending for us. Perfect. You're all sleep well. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to sing a lullaby.
Safe in my arms, my baby lies. Hush, hush, my darling. Go to sleep, close your eyes. Hush, hush, my dear. And I'll tell you why the birds fly high, what they sing to the deep blue sky. But all the words my heart will sing, there's hush, hush, my dear. The cows and horses are all asleep. Hush, hush, my dearling. Mama sheep and the baby sheep. Hush, hush, my dear. And little old maids at the wailing moon. The hoot owl sings his lonesome tune. The plum tree blossoms all are strewn. Hush, hush, my dear. The little waves crowd the waving shore. Hush, hush, my darling, to be held in the arms of the land once more. Hush, hush, my dear. And the sunflower closes his petals tight to hold a little love safe for the night. And we'll keep you safe till the morning light. Hush, hush, my dear. Hush, hush, my dear.
Hello, everybody. So, to explain kind of what's going on so it makes some sense, because the poem goes back and forth, it's not too long. It's called I3, which is the name of a BMW hybrid car. And I was walking from the BART station in Berkeley to Cal, where I work. And I bought something at the Goodwill store, and as I passed the McDonald's right there, I saw people often will be on the sidewalk in some kind of reverie. So I was transfixed by this particular woman who seemed to be in a space that I kind of wanted to get to. At the same time as I was crossing the street, this guy in this BMW ignored me in the crosswalk. So anyway, I'll explain all this. Everything will kind of hopefully come together. So, I hope. It's called I3. The middle-aged man was smoking a pipe in a white BMW i3, turning the corner onto University next to the dirty blonde woman seated on the sidewalk in a maniacal trance. I had in my Goodwill plastic bag a fancy golf shirt from Torrey Pines next to an empty picture frame, handmade in Thailand, $1.95. Soon to be filled with a Clint clip from page 92. I like to cut out nice works of art for magazines and put them in frames across the $1.92. Who put the shirt there? I walked into a pipe shop when I was 14. Coral Gables, Florida. Half a block north of Miracle Mile, they called it, with Seema Joe, who opened wide her big black bag as I asked the sales clerk serious questions and filled it with pipes. My favorite had a leather-covered bowl. Did he buy that shirt from the pro shop or win it? A gift he didn't like, or was he too fat? Or died? Did the woman on the street walk its plush fairways once? Was that I3 once hers? I tried to bless her while looking away. Can you do both at the same time? I don't look away from the man with the pipe. It was blonde, like two of the pipes we snatched 58 years ago. He started his turn while I was still in the crosswalk. She seemed quite happy. I thought she was smiling at me, but she wasn't. At everyone, or a world more expansive than the sidewalk, or the fairway, or Miracle Mile. When I wear the shirt, it's a Ralph Lauren too, but I'll wash it first, of course. On the course, is it mine, or his, or hers? I won. Is she seeing spaces I don't, but can? Will she crash like the rest of us? I'd sit on the sidewalk when I was little, crawl under the dining room table too. My family wasn't a happy one, but they painted the dining room colors that never worked, layer after layer, till it turned dark brown. I too. When he bought the i3, he knew he was clever. Pipe, not weed, no Tesla, he, and got it in white, the clever people color, and the pipe was blind. He couldn't wait to turn the corner. I3. The thing about golf is it takes a lot of time, which you must have. In a collared shirt, no jeans, and 65 acres, like the landed gentry, all of whom would drive Land Rovers, but not in town. These street people take too long to cross the street. Thinking of that little house, years before I had to smoke a pipe, bothered by the sounds of everyone breathing too loud and helpless to stop my constant prayers, I was happy with the story of those dark brown walls.
One piano piece.
Yeah, it's an Elton John pop song.
Elton John pop song.
I've heard it lately, and it seemed to have particular resonance with the last few years of the difficulties we foreseen. Recognize it, but it's called "I'm Still Standing."